Hello, I'm Dr. Kemi, OLUNLOYO. Today is the 28th of April, 2025. Today marks 47 years that I was sexually assaulted as a 13-year-old by up to or more than 20 men on Ikorodu Road, Lagos, Nigeria. It is a story that I have largely not told for 47 years. I'm going to be 61 in a couple of months, and I feel that today, as the 47th anniversary, I should explain to Nigerians exactly what happened that day. It was the day that would change the whole dynamics of the OLUNLOYO family. I'm Dr. Kemi OLUNLOYO, and I remain that name till today. My professional name is Kemi Lawrence, and that was changed in 2010 for my broadcast use. What happened on that day was a very sad story that I'm really trying to tell you without crying on this broadcast. I will try my best. I've been largely strong, but it's hard. A few days ago, my father passed away on the 6th of April, 2025. He was 89 years old, and he would have been 90 years old on the 14th of April. A family that was well put together by God was dismantled by my father's philandering with women. One single woman changed the course of fate for myself and my brother. Akintayo OLUNLOYO was 8 years old, and myself, Dr. Kemi, was 13. On the morning of April 28, 1978, we were supposed to travel to Lagos for a weekend of weddings. One of our cousin-in-laws, our in-laws generally were having a wedding, the George family. Some of you know Auntie Ore George. She's Auntie Ore OLUNLOYO, and she's my auntie, the phenomenal book writer. She wrote a lot of books, children's books, school books, and she's Bumi OLUNLOYO's mother. Bumi OLUNLOYO is an attorney, and she's also known for her dancing, brand. When this happened, obviously Bumi wasn't born yet. She would be born like in 1982, because I remember babysitting her along with my sister when we were 18 and 17. Now let's get to the bulk of what happened. A woman delivered a baby the same year my mother delivered me in 1964, August. That baby was delivered in May of 1964 to a lady by the name of Mrs. Akere. Mrs. Akere was married to Alaji Akere, and she had 3 or 4 children of her own, in addition to my brother Benga. Many of you know Benga OLUNLOYO, nicknamed Kapoor. A lot of people have asked me for years, how come Kapoor and Kemi are the same age? We're celebrating 50th birthdays together, 60th birthdays together. Our birthdays were just like the same time, even though we didn't celebrate together as in different places as we grew older. I've never been able to tell people much of anything. But Mrs. Akere is a woman that I will never forget. Minga's mother is dead now. She was my father's mistress. She had a baby the same year my mother had a baby. My mother claimed that she was controlled by my grandmother. She ruined our home from day one. It's not even Ronke OLUNLOYO. She came later on during the elections, the campaign for governor, 1983. But Gwenga's mother has always been in the picture since 1964. Her son went to live with his grandmother, and he came to live with us when he was 12 years old. I've told all that story. However, on the morning of April 28, 1978, we were supposed to go for the George wedding, and Daddy had just taken a job with NSTDA, the National Science and Technology Development Agency. Obasanjo appointed him as the head of that. So we were gradually moving to Lagos, and we were living in Federal Palace Hotel. On the topmost floor, the penthouse suite, which was literally like a house, kitchen, everything. At the end of the day, my mother woke up and packed the cars ready with bowls and pots of soups, everything we're going to eat in Lagos while we're at FPH. All the children's clothes, suitcases, everything. And we were always excited to go to Lagos in those days. The 70s was a very exciting time. So what happened was, my dad told my mother at 7:30 in the morning, and I watched him telling my mother that he needed to go to the office and he'll be back at 10 a.m. and we'll be on the road. So he left very early in the morning with his driver. We had two government cars. One was an FGN plate and the other was a CVU plate. Anyone that knows the CVU plates, those are the government cars that were Army colored. My dad was assigned both. When Daddy went to the office, he did not come back at 10 a.m. He did not come back at 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were no cell phones. You can only call from the phone in the house to the phone in his office. And if it's not been picked up, there was no way to communicate. By 6:30 p.m., my father arrived. It was too late. And my mother said, let's take all the soups and stews out of the boot. We'll put them in the morning and we'll leave in the morning. My dad said, no, we got to leave tonight. My mother said, we can't leave with the kids like this. It's too dark. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway was new. Not too much crime then, but it was not good to travel at night because you just don't know what would happen. Remember, there's no phone, there's no social media, nothing. All you have is the radio in your car. On that trip, they divided us into two. Myself and Taya were with the CVU car with my dad and the driver. And the rest of the kids, Yemi, Shola, Funke, and Yemi, Shola, Funke, and Benga were in the FGN car behind. We went in a convoy, we traveled. After the 90-minute trip, we got off the bridge and we landed in Ikorodu Road. We drove right into a riot. We heard people screaming, oh my God, federal government car, CVU. And they stoned our car. Rocks were coming from every direction. I watched the driver of our car hit by a rock in his head, and the car slowly stopped, almost crashing. The driver died that night. I can still visualize that blood gushing out of his head. I just saw a guy, he just opened the tank of the car and he put a light in it and the car exploded with fire. We were screaming inside, me and Tayo. Tayo was 8 years old. My father ran out of the car. He left us behind. The car was burning. The driver was bleeding. And a man took me out of the burning car and tossed me onto the pavement like luggage. They just took me out and threw me out. When they threw me out on the pavement, my head hit the pavement to the point that I lost consciousness briefly and I couldn't see. One of my optic nerves was damaged right away. This is why people say, did you know that Kemi OLUNLOYO is blind in one eye? Yeah, one of my eyes doesn't function. At the end of the day, when I decided to get up, I couldn't. A lot of men picked me up. They started surfing me like in a crowd. You know what crowd surfing is? You're in concert. 20 men are carrying you and they're all throwing you above. They're throwing you from one end to the other. They stripped me naked and they put their hands into my vagina. As they were doing that, I was screaming. I was in pain. I was bleeding. It was horrible. They broke what is called the hymen. They broke my hymen. They disregulated me with their hands. They destroyed me. And they were tossing me everywhere naked, 13 years old. This has only happened twice in Nigerian history. There's another girl this happened to, but not as bad. My dad was gone. Did he go to the other car in the back to check on them or what? I never knew till today what happened to my mom and the other kids in the other car or where they went to. I just looked into the burning car and I saw Tayo with blood shooting out of his head and he was sitting curled up.